My mother is Deborah Faye John, a full-blooded Anishinaabe. My father is part German. He came north to pick cherries and met Mom when she was 18. After the summer, he took her away to live near his family in Grand Rapids. I am the eldest of 2 girls. My grandparents were Harry and Ida Mae John. My grandmother was an Anderson. My grandfather was the minister at the Keewaydin Indian Mission Church. On their way to help others in southern Michigan, they'd stop to see how we were doing. Growing up wasn't easy. My sister and I were the only Native kids. My cousins were all blonde-haired and blue-eyed. It didn't help that my father used to tell me, "People don't like you. They're just being nice so that they can use you." I started working at a young age in my family's businesses. It was my dad's way of controlling us. I felt alone and unappreciated. But I didn't feel that way when I was near the giant maple tree in our neighbor's front yard. I used to talk to that tree. He was my friend. I also didn't feel that way when I talked and sang to those plants in the greenhouse behind my dad's hardware store. At 22, I remember traveling to the Amazon rainforest on a study abroad program. It rekindled my relationship with trees, plants, and water. After graduating from Michigan State University, I went home to my tribal community to work as a fisheries biologist. That's when I met Matt, who became my significant other. His family employed members of our community over the generations. When the complications became great and overwhelming, as they do in communities burdened with great historical trauma, Matt encouraged me to walk away. To make ends meet, I worked at my family's produce farm and started selling at the farmer's market. Matt became my shelter from the world, a place where I could hide my grief and pain from all the physical, sexual, and emotional abuse I experienced in my life. Just like any fairy tale, there were evil forces at play. Matt was addicted to prescription pain pills. I didn't realize this until after I fell deeply in love with him. As happens too often with people with addictions, Matt passed away on March 1, 2012. I desperately wanted to heal all of the emotional wounds in my life. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be loved. I tried asking family that had traditional knowledge to help me. They didn't offer the guidance I was seeking. So I asked Reiki healers, acupuncturists, and tarot card readers. They told me to go back to my people because they needed me. Although I kept insisting they didn't want me. Despite feeling rejected, I moved back in 2015. With the love and support of my mother, who moved back to our tribal community 3 years earlier after her divorce. I was struggling to be a part of the community. I applied for jobs, I wrote proposals, I even started drinking socially. 2 years ago, I decided to live sober, and although it made me feel alone again, I didn't move away. I am committed to helping my tribal community like my grandparents. One day, in 2016, I saw the cedars cut down. All of a sudden, there was a big, blank area, and you could see the water. I couldn't believe it, especially after all my tribe had done to fight for treaty rights and stop others in the past from building marinas. It made me deeply saddened. My mom kept pushing me to plant something, anything, on tribal property. It was hard to get started, but I worked a small patch in the elders' community garden. I planted sunflowers to feed the birds, and I grew tomatoes, peppers, and beans in pots. It felt so good to have my hands in Mother Earth. It was refreshing to restore my relationships with the seeds and to care for them so they could provide us with fresh food. For the first time, I started smiling again. It made me determined to figure out how to make a difference in our community. In August 2016, I attended our tribe's first wild rice camp. That was when I met Brad, who was an assistant teacher at our camp. I fell in love with Minoman. I know I needed a racing partner, but I didn't want another boyfriend. I just needed someone who knew how to make the tools, harvest, and process the wild rice. Brad was very knowledgeable and helpful, besides being nice-looking, soft-spoken, and sweet. By the end of the harvest season, I fell in love with more than the wild rice. My spirit name is Ozawa Anaquid Kwe, Yellow Cloud Woman. My birth name is Tina Frankenberger. I am a strong and resilient Anishinaabe Kwe who has weathered some storms, but I have also seen the glimmer of a new dawn rising. All I have to do is keep offering my asema and keep hope alive.
Oh